All right, in the midst of everything else that's going on, it's good timing for this. Good timing for this. Yvonne went down to the American Post Office box, checked that today, and I'll be going over a few things. One of which is an item that I bought, and I can do a comparison video. Finally, I've been wanting to do a comparison video for a while, but I didn't have two jerseys from the same team to make that comparison with, so now I do. And it's a team that it's hard to find different jerseys of without getting really old ones. Dear Shannon and Yvonne did read this prior to handing it off to me when she got home. First off, I want to say thank you for all the hard work, keeping all USA fans up to date on the hockey news. Somebody wanted to be all smartassy with me in the comments, and I didn't mention Chris Kreider was skating. Here's the thing. If I mention every single player that starts skating while they're injured, yeah, it's going to fill up 4 boards. I've talked about this. Injury news. I talk about it when they're coming back or when they get hurt, but honestly, there's so many bloody injuries in the league. Just injuries 101. And until he's greenlit for a game, there's only, 3.5 weeks left in hockey? I don't know when he comes back. So, that aside. I've been watching your videos since the days where the Ducks were good and you hated them. And I still think that my not hating the Ducks as much as I did and actually kind of warming up to them, even to the point of going to a Ducks game in Anaheim in January, I kind of feel like maybe that's why they're no good now. That I did it. That they fed on my hatred of them or something, because it felt like it. It felt like they were there to taunt me for over a decade. Inside you'll find a couple of books and a puck for 02-03 Ducks that lost Game 7 to New Jersey. There it is. The fact I still not forgiven the state of New Jersey for it. And I understand that feeling. I do. Joel Otto kicked the puck in. It's signed by Andy McDonald, who you mentioned is one of your favorite players. And he is. Andy McDonald, a heart and soul guy, very underrated. I could do a video at some point in time, probably during the off season or if something happens to this season, right? Where I talk about players who may very well be forgotten in this generation from the previous generation who were pretty darn good. And maybe I can even do a video on guys who may very well end up being forgotten who are playing pretty well right now. And fans would be like, we won't forget that guy, and then they do. Andy McDonald was a pretty good player. On a more personal note, I want to thank you for 2 things in particular. First, your openness to talk about your struggle with depression. I'm in the midst of my own battle with depression, which has put me out of work since December 2nd. And, I have to say, and I'm not going to read the rest of that paragraph, but I have to say that, I understand this. This is part of the reason I do videos every single day. When people say, oh, you could take a break, you can take a holiday, I think about the people who are dealing with their own personal demons day to day. People who may have physical limitations, keep them in the house 24/7, who may have, health problems that mean that they don't go out. And so my videos are kind of a normal day-to-day, everyday thing that they have. So it's important that I keep doing this every day. So even when we're on holiday in Vegas, I got to do my videos. So Yvonne gets up in the morning, she goes walks around the area, she does a bunch of shopping and stuff, and I just stay home. And I stay in the hotel room and do videos in the morning. And it's for those people that I do that. It's not as much the financials. There are certainly times where when I was talking to my YouTube rep that they've assigned to me, where he said, well, if you look over your charts, it shows there's times where you could take time off and not do videos. And I said, that's not going to happen. And Yvonne laughed when he said it too and said, yeah, Shannon doesn't do that. And that's part of the reason why. Because that sense of normalcy is important. When I went through what I went through, it's been about 6 years. And you never fully get over some of the stuff that goes on in life. You just learn to live with it. And you sort of take that pain and you find a way to compartmentalize it. And it's there, but you don't have to feed it anymore. You take away its power. So when I was going through everything, I tried to make sure that certain things I was doing in my normal life before everything fell apart, that I still had that. So there were certain YouTubers I had been watching regularly, and I made sure I kept doing that. So I had a sense of normalcy going through everything. And right now, with everything going on right now with news and whatever you think of it, that sense of normalcy of day to day is very important. And, you know, for people who may be dealing with depression and maybe dealing with health issues, just you've got to have something normal in your life. And that was really important to me about 6 years ago, and it's still important now. Your stories prove to me that I can survive this nightmare. Things can get better, and they can, and they do. I very regularly tell Yvonne, you know, if I could go back 10 years, if I could go back 20 years in time and meet Shannon from back then. Well, first off, Shannon 10 years ago would say, seriously, your legs, they're in shape. And I'd be like, yeah, treadmill, 4 miles a day, dude, do it. Do it. Your body will thank you. I feel so much healthier since I started doing that. But all of that aside, I would definitely have some advice for myself if I could go back 20 years. And it would, the number one piece of advice would be choose what's right for you, and don't worry about what's right for everybody else. Don't try to live for everybody else, because people that you're living for won't appreciate the sacrifice as much as you think they will. That's what I would say to myself as advice. Second, thank you for the daily uploads. Gives me something to look forward to even on worse days. Have a great rest of your day. Give the cats a few pets from my wife and I. Okay. He can stop grooming himself for 10 seconds, right? Yeah, you can. You can, though. Come up here. Come on. Don't slap me. We've had that discussion. You don't get to slap. I'm the owner. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. There you go. Good boy. No biting either. You're on the internet. No biting. Knock it off. Yes, you knock it off. There. See, he does move and he does talk. And then ends with Go Ducks. And if we're ever in the area, Winterhawks tickets are on him. And that's, you know, that's an offer I know I've had before. I remember the first time that I got an email from somebody who worked at the New York Police Force, and he said, well, if you're ever in the city, Rangers tickets are on us. And I thought, wow, that is insane. And it is humbling to think there are people out there that watch these every day. So the first book in here, Changing the Game, A History of NHL Expansion. So see, this is the kind of stuff I do during the summer. So for people who may think, well, what does Shannon do during the off season? I do the history stuff during the summer. I've got all kinds of history books on the shelf just behind here. And yeah, that's New York Americans. See, and then what I wanted to do this summer too is be able to cobble together from various books videos on the more obscure stuff. So nobody watches those videos, but it's evergreen content. So eventually the view counts go up, right? So that's an excellent one. Slapshot's the funniest things ever said, both on and off the ice. And it's got Gretzky, Messier, and Lemieux on it. Doug Harvey, all-star defenseman. Either you give it right back, or the next thing you know, everybody and his brother will be trying you on for size. So that's about fighting. Let's see. That's a longer one. Oh, it's about goalies, men behind the bench. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in here. And I do love quoting things that have been said by hockey players, hockey coaches, and whatnot. So that's a fun book too. I will definitely go through that. I have a few books that have quotes in them, so I may very well be able to cobble together a video this summer on who said it. And then the comment section can be, you know, a bunch of people who looked it up on the internet and cheated. All right, now this other one, this is one I had actually thought about buying myself, which is Bobby Orr, My Story. And that's a fantastic book as well. I've read the reviews on it that are just fantastic. So Bobby Orr, there's the yellow Boston jersey. I know it's a black and white picture. Trust me, it's yellow. I have that jersey. Not with Orr wearing it. And then of course, famously the flying through the air goal with Boston when they won the Stanley Cup over St. Louis. St. Louis would get their revenge in 2019, but they got it. All right, now I'll pause for a sec. So I've talked a lot about how certain jerseys that we see now are related to like black ice designs. Now Tampa Bay's third is the one that I would use as a descriptor of this. So Reebok at one point in the early 2010s went, hey, we want to do some kind of a fashionable kind of thing. Fashion jerseys have been around for a while. And so they made these. These were the black ice jerseys. So this is New York Rangers, obviously. I've got numerous black ice jerseys. The one that I have that looks the nicest is Toronto's. The only thing that's sort of weird about it is they'll still have the striping on it, even though all the stripes are black. So, all the stripes are black. But yeah, again, this is a Reebok. It's a small, and it's Callahan. Now, I got this one through Full Moon Jerseys because that's where you find these things now. They are actually getting hard to find, to the point where, I mean, if I'd had a channel a decade ago, and if I was doing the collection like I'm doing now, I probably would have got a lot more black ice jerseys, but I would have regretted that pretty quickly. I remember when these came out, I saw them, the first time I saw a black ice jersey was in West Edmonton Mall. I was in a jersey store there, and I remember they had a whole section. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they were all Oilers, and I'm like, that just looks weird. Why is it all black? But, yeah. Some teams they work and some teams they don't. Some teams you see. The funny thing is, this jersey I saw in between periods during a Rangers telecast recently. And when I saw it, I thought, okay, so that kid, I'm saying kid because he was a teenager that was wearing this jersey, shops at Full Moon as well. And then the second thought I had was, could he potentially be a subscriber and maybe he found it through my recommendations? So, when looking through Full Moon, I try to make sure I'm getting jerseys of players that have been traded that, well, in some cases they may be controversial, but players who were popular while they were there. So this just came in today. As you can see, I'm just opening it up now. This is a black Accelerator of the New York Rangers. So this is a year, I believe that this was the year after they came out with the black Accelerator. And the black Accelerator, I like the Rangers logo better on the black Accelerator, but boy howdy were the numbers ugly. Now, I have a black Accelerator for the Canucks, and instead of it being blue, it's outlined in like a almost lime green. It's a in between a lime green, forest green kind of color. But the numbers, I wasn't a huge fan of on these. And Accelerator, and I thought, well, what's it accelerating to? So, this was the second and final installment of the black jerseys that they had. Now, I got this one through Full Moon as well. This one's a medium because that was what they had. They had a medium on there. They didn't have a small. Jerseys always look huge. Always look gigantic. Comparatively speaking to what I can wear now. This one here itself, I think, is a small. And this is a Reebok Authentic. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a 46. And a 46 and a Reebok Authentic is the same as a small in the Premier. Like a 50 is a medium, 52 is a large, 54 is double X, and 56 is, I think it's 50, or is it 56 and 58? Anyways, 56 is a double X, and then 58 and up, that's into your bigger size ones. And if you take the bigger size jerseys, I recommend going through eBay because you will find like a 3X, 4X jersey for cheap. Also, sportsk.com, they have some triple and quadruple X jerseys, NHL size. And I think it's because they stock these and I don't think there's a lot of sales for them. It's sort of like how I used to love being a size 28 in jeans because men don't wear size 28 in general. So my jeans were always on sale. Then I got older. To quote Chief Wiggum, I got more important. And so now that I'm more important, now I'm in like a 31, basically. Although, related, Lewis, if you're watching this, I bought a pair of swim trunks before we went to Vegas last year. And they had the Flying V's on the side. So, of course, I had to have them because I'm like, then I can wear a Flying V jersey and a Flying V pair of swim trunks. I'm going to be styling when we go to the pool, right? I have the Flying V hat, Flying V everything, right? So, I get them. They're a size medium. Well, they didn't fit. Well, I tested it while I was starting my weight loss. It still didn't fit. I put them on 2 days ago. They fit. They finally fit. It's a good feeling. Now, the other thing that I got, because it was cheap. So, again, with Full Moon jerseys, my recommendation is don't get into a bidding war. The only way you're going to get a jersey that you want on eBay is let's say a jersey is at $15. So let's just say that a jersey's being bid at for $15. Put a bid down. But don't make it for $16. Make it for $40. There you go. Yeah, that's good. $40 for an Adidas Ryan McDonough with the captaincy on the front. So now I have an Adidas with JT Miller, which of course now he's a Canuck. I got Tyler Myers with the Sabres ages ago. He became a Canuck. Maybe McDonough's going to be a Canuck at some point. They certainly could use another blue liner, I would think. But yeah, so it's in good shape. It's well done. And again, I love having captain jerseys, because then when I do a video, I'm the captain, right? Because I'm the captain, so that's how that works. But yeah, so I like this one a lot. This one's a size 50, and of course, the one thing I want to bring up too is if you get one with the Adidas button, that's the first year. So if you see a listing with the Adidas button, if it's a size 46, sometimes they won't show it in the listing, but if it's from the first year, the size 46s, the logos were smaller. It's been fixed in every year since then, but that first year with the button, a size 46 will have a small logo. So that's why if you go through Ben H Sports, he's got a bunch of listings for size 46s with small logos, and he discounted the price. Because people don't want one, because it makes it look like a women's jersey then. So yeah, it was kind of Rangers Day for me, I guess is what I'm saying. And it was funny because when I got these, I said to Yvonne, I said, so we agree that in my collection I need more Rangers, right? And she's like, no, we don't. Because she doesn't like the colors. She doesn't like the word mark either. She's like, nah, we don't need more Rangers. And I'm like, well, funny thing about that. So yeah. And I like McDonough. Good defenseman. And again, captaincy. I like that. So what that means is that then when I can go to a meetup, I can wear either McDonough or Miller. And then if I have some kind of a wipeout, then it's not, not too bad. But yeah, so there you go. Trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to discuss while I had the attention of the masses. And I can't really think of anything other than to say thank you for the sending of the puck. It will take its place in the collection. And, I'm aware, too, that this summer I need to rearrange things. People point out that the YouTube silver is off kilter. Yeah, I know it's off kilter. I knew that when I put it up. I just got it up on the wall, and I need to change some of these out. And that'll happen once we get into the playoffs and it starts getting really warm. I won't need that heater anymore. Because then once the playoffs start, there's less games on during the day, so I have more time to rearrange this room. But that'll happen during the summer, and then I'll get the puck display case up there at some point too. I just need to make room on the wall for it. It's been sitting there since Christmas. Yvonne bought it for me for Christmas, and it's still sitting there. So I do feel bad about this stuff sometimes. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Yvonne and I also, I want to throw out there, we've been talking about doing a jersey fixing 101. Oh, while I'm at it, I didn't find out what was in this. So one sec. Good thing I noticed that at my feet. Hello, Shannon. Love the channel. Thanks for all you do. I'm Steve. Recently sent you an email which included some pics of my 2 Mitchell and Ness Tiger Williams Flying V jerseys. Mitchell and Ness jerseys are kind of nice. I'm a recent Patreon subscriber as well. Here's a box full of goodies from you. There's some Topps number stickers you like to use. Some new jerseys for your collection. Vancouver, Boston, Dallas hockey cards, and others from my collection for yours. Not sure if it's an entire team set of the 71-72 O-Pee-Chee Golden Seals, but it's pretty close. So this is where it gets interesting. I'm trying to remember exactly where. I've got a bunch of the mini jerseys. So here's kind of a behind the scenes kind of thing. I would normally just post this on Patreon, but whatever. So here's a little mini Ovechkin jersey. When Ovechkin hit 700, I wanted to get this up on the board, and magnets wouldn't hold it, and I couldn't find a way I'm not putting pins through it. But yeah, these little mini jerseys are really cool. And I told Yvonne, I saw a listing locally. I got 50 of them for really cheap. I found it on, I think it was through Facebook Marketplace. So that's really cool. There's Marion Gaborik. Of course, that's the original Minnesota Wild jerseys. And it's weird because I don't know if they didn't sell well, if that's why they don't make these anymore. But they're really, really fun. And if you find them online, I highly recommend them. Oh. Danny Heatley, there you go. A little mini Danny Heatley jersey. Now it's too bad it won't fit on my stuffed animal. I guess I could start getting Ken dolls, but then that's just going to look creepy. Can't be getting Ken dolls. Eric Stahl with Carolina. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in here. Okay, that is cool. So there's Gino Ojic. You've received an autograph card from the Enforcers series by the In the Game Inc. On the front is an authentic Gino Ojic autograph. Nice. Sign of the Times. Oh, Trevor Linden autograph. Very nice. Yeah, that is really, really cool. And then 4-time Smythe Division champions Canucks. 25th anniversary. I wonder if I could try the lacrosse goal with this. I admit that when I've been at the kids hockey that I go to on Wednesdays, this Wednesday's the last week of the year. I try. I can get the stick over top of the puck. I'm like, all right, now you flip it. Okay. So how do you? So yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue. I have no clue how they do that. Yeah, and then there's a bunch more of the jerseys in here. Oh, I've never even seen that before. The Reebok. He's waving goodbye to the Boston Bruins and their insanely stupid leadership. So he can go win a Stanley Cup somewhere else because Boston was stupid at the time. Yeah, 96-97 season. That was the year that's the All-Star game in San Jose, I think. Because I have the book from that year. It's not memories that I have a book from that year that the All-Star game. I have a magazine from it. Oh, that is really neat. Those seem to have gone by the wayside too. The 3D hologram thing, that the motion holograms seem to have just disappeared. Oh gee, Marty Turco too. That is really cool. And one more thing. All right, this is something else I'd ordered as well. So I have the magnets. I've got them right here actually. Of the mini pennants. So I ordered a set from the early 90s. Well, they say they're from the early 90s. Yeah, they're the exact same size. Fantastic. So, because I'm always looking to make more magnets, because who isn't, I thought this would be really cool to have. So that's Flames, Jets. Yeah, Jets are in here. The old Jets one. So, it's got the Kings, the Blues. I've got the Eastern Conference as well. I got that the other day. Now I've got the West. I can make pennants out of these. Of course, it's got the Blues where it has St. Louis inside of it. So, yeah, that's kind of fun. And, again, I see these collectibles online and I'm like, yes, I can use that. I'm going to pick that up. So, and again, during the summer, all those magnets come in really handy because you're doing history videos and videos talking about a lot of stuff in the past. You might as well make it visually interesting in terms of what's on the whiteboard. And sometimes the magnets are an aid. I know there are people who say, well, you should use you should use a green screen, you should do all the fancy schmancy editing, and take all the fun out of it for me. And then it wouldn't feel like I'm just talking to somebody on the other end of a webcam that I went to school with or worked with, or that kind of casual discussion back and forth. The one take thing would be gone. And if things changed to where, it was 15 million different takes, and you could tell that it was all different takes, I think that the channel would lose something. I understand why people say that. There are people who say, well, if you did that, you make more money, and that may very well be true. The channel might have grown a lot faster, and I might have made a lot more money by getting the green screen, doing all the editing, and hiring a whole crew of people to help out. And I still think the channel would have lost something in just on some level. The channel would have lost part of what I think makes it unique. So I try to keep things as similar as possible. I've said this before. I think it's important that for somebody who may have watched my videos years ago and lapsed and comes back, for them to go, hey, this feels the same as what he was doing years ago. Yeah, he's got a better camera and he's in a better room and he's got a better set behind him. But it feels really similar to what he was doing, years ago. It should feel really, really similar. So that's always been the key for me. I've always thought that, like, for instance, and I'll close off on this. There are a lot of channels that I follow where they get fancy new equipment, and you can tell, and it's like, oh, they got new equipment for their set, or oh, they got a new setup. That's interesting. But that's not what keeps me around. That's not what makes me watch them. What makes me watch them is the hosts. It's the personalities on the channel. It's sometimes it's their sense of humor. Red Letter Media, their sense of humor is fantastic. Their most recent Best of the Worst might have had me laughing more than anything I've ever seen in my life. So if you've watched it, there's a part in that video, and if you haven't watched it too, just everybody gather around, not too close, 3 feet. So a guy's stealing okay, I need to go back. It's Leo Fong. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie now. But Showdown. It's Leo Fong's Showdown. And he's chasing the bad guy through this warehouse. The next scene, he's torturing some poor guy to try to find out where the guy is that he was just chasing. So you see the half and the bad guys, who are Red Letter Media. You see them yelling, you were just chasing him. So then the guy tells him he's at that warehouse, and they're like, you were just at the warehouse. At that point, Rich Evans, who might be the funniest laugh on the planet, just loses it for like 30 seconds. And then what made it worse was that you see the guy that he's after, the bad guy, trying to break into a truck, random. He's not in the warehouse. And then he just starts running away. But he was running away. It looked like he was speed walking away from the van. And then Leo Fong's just there, and he's speed walking after him. And it's like, wait. So he just randomly found it's the funniest thing I've ever seen on that channel, because we used to call them B-movie festivals when I was in high school, where we would rent like 4 or 5 movies we knew were going to be crap. And that was back in the days of VHS, and we'd be like, all right, we're going to stay up all night and watch bad movies. And that's what Red Letter Media reminds me of, is that staying up all night and watching bad movies vibe. That is absolutely, and I still think that's a great thing to do. So maybe with everything that's going on, that's the kind of thing that's going to end up becoming an in vogue thing again. There are certainly worse things to do than to hang out with a few buddies and watch really crappy movies. So there you go. And maybe there's a group somewhere that meets and goes, hey, let's watch a crappy hockey guy video. And maybe this is that. So there you go. It's a meta world we live in. I just do my best to entertain as well as I can. Thank you guys so much for all your supports. Supports. That would insinuate that there's multiple supports and that maybe I'm on shaky ground. All right, but thank you guys so much for all that. It means a lot. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. You guys make this work. Without the subscribers watching, without the subscribers support, none of this works. And on that note, I would like to thank Patreons John Flanius, Jordan Whitehead, and Joseph Wunderlich for their continued support on Patreon. So thank you guys so much for everything. I will talk to you again soon.